I might be able to get a signal if I head deeper into the raceway.
Cassie, is that you?
Gregory?
Yeah, Gregory. Let's talk about him. The whole point of the FNAF Ruin DLC was to help Cassie find him, and it turns out he isn't even at the Pizzaplex. Or is he? Now, obviously, the voice that leads Cassie to the Pizzaplex and throughout the game is the Mimic pretending to be Gregory. We even hear the Mimic reusing Gregory's voice lines from the main game, which is an early hint something isn't quite right. I would also imply that the Mimic has somehow been watching the whole time we played as Gregory in the main game, which is unsettling to think about, and how he managed that may be a theory for another time. But the first time we hear the real Gregory is after Cassie frees the Mimic, and Roxy saves her from being attacked. Although, there is a rare chance to hear Gregory before this, talking through the assistant staff bot trying to reach Cassie before it's too late. That clip I showed at the beginning of the video isn't edited, that has a chance to happen every time you pass by the bot there. And I think this backs up Gregory's claim that he has indeed been trying to reach Cassie all night, and the fact that this is such a rare voice line to hear goes to show the difficulties Gregory has been having trying to contact Cassie throughout Ruin. Of course, you could write this off as the Mimic messing with Cassie, but throughout the whole of Ruin, when has Mimic Gregory ever shown concern for Cassie, and not himself?
I need your help. Are you there? Is someone there? Are you being help? Hurry! Save me, Cassie, please. It's so dark down here.
The one time Mimic Gregory appears to show any level of concern is when he's telling her to stay away from the Mexus entity, which sounds like, to me, more of a, hey, that thing will prevent you from deactivating the security nodes and saving me, unless, hey Cassie, you're going to die.
Stay away from that thing. It's sending out some sort of distress signal and Monty is responding.
It just sounds more objective-oriented rather than genuine concern. I don't know, it just sounds cold to me. Compare that to this Gregory, who sounds emotional and desperate. Which is the same reason I believe that Gregory talking on the radio before the Mimic chase is the true Gregory, not the Mimic trying to mislead Cassie.
How do I know this is you for real?
Is there another option? You need to get out of there now.
This concern, desperation, and emotion leads me to believe that in the staffbot voice line and the pre-chase sequence, this is the real Gregory speaking. Just wanted to get that out of the way first. I've seen many people speculating the real Gregory was never trying to contact Cassie to begin with, and it was all the Mimic the whole game. Now that we assume that real Gregory was indeed talking to us during some events of Ruin, let's discuss the elevator sequence. There's been some speculation here as well as to whether this is the real Gregory or Mimic Gregory talking to us over the speaker. However, during the speaker's speech, the speaker tunes before Gregory starts to talk.
Cassie.
Then you hear that sound again, right before Gregory's tone shifts and he drops a betrayal on us.
It's not your fault.
I personally agree with the idea that this speaker screech does indicate a change in speaker from real Gregory to Mimic Gregory, and the Mimic, no longer held back by the Mexus system, somehow disables the elevator, plunging us to our death. But not actually, because Cassie hearing Roxy call out to her implies she survives, but that's a whole different discussion. There is something else about this elevator sequence that bothers me, however. Something I feel a lot of people overlooked. Something I believe tells us exactly where Gregory is.
I really don't know what it is, but it's been trapped down here a really long time.
Down here? Why would Gregory say the Mimic has been trapped down here a really long time? Odd choice of words for someone who's watching from afar, right? Surely you would normally say it's been trapped down there? Unless Gregory has been closer than we think the whole time. He says he's not at the Pizzaplex, but neither are we right now. We're under the FNAF 6 location, which is under the Pizzaplex. That's totally different than being at the Pizzaplex. This could also just be a lie from Gregory, who may know the Mimic is listening and doesn't want to give away his position. Or he just doesn't want Cassie to know his actual location, so she'll leave to somewhere safe rather than stay and try to find where his hideout is. But that's only the beginning. Have you ever wondered how the Mimic knows of Cassie's existence? Or how we got in contact with her at all? She's never so much as mentioned by Gregory in the main game, so how does it get a hold of this information to call her to the Pizzaplex? I think this has to do with the suspicious Freddy backpack left behind in the mech's security room. It's an odd detail in a really obvious place, with no real explanation. But on closer inspection, there's a name tag on the side of the backpack that reads Gregory. This alone tells us that Gregory has definitely been down here, but why? Well, with all the unfinished parent security nodes littered around the room, what if Gregory himself is the one who built the mech's security system? Not that crazy of a concept considering from the book GGY, we can almost definitely confirm GGY to be Gregory, aka Greg, aka Rab, aka Dr. Rabbit as Patient 46. Little bro has too many nicknames. And we know both from the books and the secret discs from the main game, Gregory is an expert hacker. So, building a security system shouldn't be that far-fetched, right? Especially if he had help from Vanessa, who would be familiar with the security systems of the Pizzaplex. And quite possibly the AR world as well. Considering the name of the AR network system is called Vanny, perhaps she had a hand in making it. And at the very least, she's used it herself before. So I think it's very likely that Gregory and or Vanessa is the one keeping the Mimic locked in the basement. With all this in mind, let's run through what I believe could be one possibility for the events that lead up to the story of Ruin. After Gregory frees Vanessa from the clutches of Glitchtrap in the Princess Quest ending, they'll leave the Pizzaplex, assuming all has been resolved. The evil has been vanquished, right? And they can leave all of this behind them. Until sometime later when they hear that the Pizzaplex gets shook by an earthquake and completely falls into a state of disrepair. Which is odd because Utah doesn't get earthquakes powerful enough to destroy a building of that size. This would definitely make Gregory and Vanessa suspicious. They would likely decide to investigate in case something else is going on. Maybe they missed something. Vanessa would have known about the sinkhole under the raceway and burn trap, so they'll probably begin their investigation there. Upon going underground, they end up finding the Mimic, who may very well be burn trap, but without the glitch trap he's become a blank state. The Mimic attacks Gregory, grabbing his backpack in the process, and upon escaping, locking the doors to the room he was in and pouring cement over them for good measure, and then blocking any other entrance into or out of that room, so that nobody else would dare go in there, and the monster has no way of getting out of this basement. From the backpack the Mimic stole, it's likely where the Mimic got a hold of the Freddy walkie-talkie, and other items of Gregory's belongings, including something relating to Cassie. The Mimic would wait and listen and learn, while Gregory and Vanessa build the Mex's security system to hold the Mimic down, utilising a world no one should have access to, the AR world, and creating the security nodes across various points in the Pizzaplex for an extra layer of security for good measure. The Mimic would then go on to start imitating Gregory, calling out for help from a friend to come save him from being trapped under the sinkhole, luring them in like the Pied Piper with a lullaby, guiding them to undo all the work his other self had set up in order to keep them trapped down there. Of course, I'm not saying this is exactly what happened, just an idea of what could have happened in between the events of Security Breach and Ruin. So, if this is true, where is Gregory now? Surely once his work was done he'd leave the Pizzaplex again. But think about this. Gregory up till now has been trying to contact us not through the walkie-talkie, but through staff bots and possibly other systems as well. And the one time he does have a rare chance to speak with us, the connection is very poor.
Cassie, is that you?
So why then, when we get to the Mimic's lair, is he able to speak to us through a walkie-talkie? Not only that, his connection is pretty clear. If we were too far away before to reach each other with walkie-talkies, why then would getting deeper underground mean we can suddenly reach each other? Surely being underground would make it harder to establish a connection to someone who's not even at the Pizzaplex. Unless he's down there himself.
But it's been trapped down here a really long time.
That's not all either. When the elevator falls, was it not suspicious just how far it fell? It didn't sound like it was ascending all that fast, and it was falling very fast for about 7 seconds. And we don't even hear the impact, the screen goes dark at that point. I'm not really a math guy, but let's try anyways. So googling the velocity of a falling elevator told me about 200 kilometers per hour. In meters per second, that's 55.6. Cassie was falling for about 7 seconds, giving us a total distance fallen of 389.2 meters. But of course we didn't account for acceleration time, so if Game Theory would like to make a video on just how far Cassie would have fallen in that elevator, to see if the next part of the script would make sense, there's a free video idea for you guys. But anyways, this probably means the elevator goes further down than the caverns of the Mimic Layer. But what could possibly be deeper than the Mimic Layer, which is underneath the FNAF 6 location, which is underneath the Pizzaplex? Oh. Believe me, I know this is crazy, but bear with me here. We can find the room Michael returns to at the end of each night of Sister Location within the Pizzaplex, so the two locations can't be that far apart if he's travelling to and from them each day. And after the secret ending of Sister Location, we see Ennard has managed to drag their spaghetti ass all the way to this room where Michael is still watching TV, implying they have to be really close by, because it's not been multiple days, this is the episode directly after the one from Night 4, and Ennard ain't very fast. We even see a scooper in one of the endings to Ruin, albeit a more high-tech version, but the only other time a scooper has been present at all was during Sister Location. So where am I going with all this? I believe Gregory and possibly Vanessa as well are underneath the Mimic Layer in the Sister Location facility, keeping an eye on the Mimic, monitoring it, studying it even perhaps. We know Gregory was interested in saving the missing children, or at least preventing any more disappearances from his comment at the end of Security Breach. He's also been missing for a while from the fact he has missing posters visible during Chapter 5. If he and Vanessa found the Mimic and the Sister Location facility, it isn't that surprising that they would stay there for a while. We know it has the technology that would allow them to monitor the Mimic, and I bet there's a lot down there for the two to investigate. Old animatronics, blueprints, anything left behind by William and Michael Afton, which would help them to figure out the secrets of the Fazbear Company, the origins of Glitchtrap, the man it was designed to replicate, and where do all those missing kids go? Maybe Gregory and Vanessa will uncover the answers to questions we've had about the series for years, and with the elevator dropping down, it may have just brought Cassie straight to the person she was searching for this whole game. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory! Man, I've always wanted to say that. Although, maybe it would be more accurate to call it a game hypothesis. There's plenty I could be wrong about here, as the evidence isn't substantial for how wild the claims are, but I think I'm on the right track here, and at the very least, I felt it was necessary to bring attention to various details I haven't seen many people talk about. Like, why does Gregory say down here instead of down there? Why is Gregory's backpack in the basement? Why is there even a scooper? And why can real Gregory suddenly contact us when he couldn't before? I also think the fact Help Wanted 2 is taking us back to Sister Location is very important. For it to release the same year as Ruin, there has to be a connection. So, do I think we will play as Gregory, Cassie, or even Vanessa in Help Wanted 2? Probably not. When have the FNAF games ever been so straightforward? My predictions for Help Wanted 2 are that it is likely we go back in the story a little, playing potentially as an unnamed engineer, who could turn out to be Cassie's dad, in a similar way to how the first Help Wanted had us playing as an unnamed games tester who turned out to be Vanessa. We learn what happened to him, we get some more insight into the Sister Location and possibly the history of Fazbear Entertainment as well, which will likely be what Gregory is discovering in the current timeline, so the lore we learn in Help Wanted 2 will likely be referenced in the game that comes after Ruin. Either way, I'm loving the direction this series is going, and I'm super excited to play Help Wanted 2 when it comes out, and to continue theorising with this community. I'm so glad my first ever theory style video was received so well, so if you liked, commented or subscribed from that video, I want to thank you all as well. And if you've made it this far in this video, and you haven't already, please consider doing those things again here. Evidently, it really helps me out. I have so many more ideas for theories, including the secrets behind the AR world and where I think the story will go from here. So plenty to look forward to, but if you can't wait that long to hear my voice again, I live stream almost every weekday on this channel. So whether it's a live stream or a future video, rest assured, I always come back.